Welcome to the studio. I'm Natalia, and today I am going to tell you what it was like going to FIT as a fashion design student, bachelor's edition. So, I have a degree in fashion design, and I'm gonna take you through that whole experience and answer some questions like what the application process was like, the portfolio, what the classes are like, dorming versus commuting, what the campus is like, social life, classes I recommend you taking, and just some tips and was it worth it. So let's get into it. Question number one, the application process and the portfolio. So I'm going to show you what I did to get into FIT. So pretty much you need to submit an art portion of your fashion illustrations with some inspiration and fabric swatches on them. You also need to submit photos of 2 garments that you've sewn. And then also there's the Common App, and then the essay, and then questions of why you want to be an FIT student, etc. I'm going to show you. This one was inspired by a fish. So cute. I have this girl. This one was inspired by a basket of pears, which I think is like so cute. This one was inspired by a location in France. And this one, I'm actually still proud of this one today. Well, I think I said that it was inspired by some sort of fish. Yeah, it was definitely inspired by some sort of fish. But in reality, it was inspired by Rooney Mara. You can see it's definitely a detail-oriented person, even in high school. I took the pre-college classes on the weekend when I was like 16 and 17 on Saturdays, and I took the portfolio class. That's where I did most of this artwork. I believe I took like a draping class there. I also took sewing lessons, not at FIT, but somewhere else, to help me strengthen my skills. I also recommend going to the portfolio review that FIT has before you apply. You can bring in your portfolio and your garments. The professors there will take a look at your work and critique it. I find that was really helpful. Question number 2, what are the classes like? So since it is a state school, you still have to take your liberal arts classes. You have to take the math, the science, the gym, and you also have to take your fashion and design classes. Throughout the associates and bachelors, you'll have classes like life drawing, fashion art, draping, pattern making, sewing, technical flats class, and so much more, honestly. Through the years, the classes get a little bit more specialized and more difficult, as expected. The associates is definitely the foundation year. You have to reapply to your bachelor's, so make sure that your grades are strong in your associates because it does matter. The bachelor's, you get to have a little bit more fun. You get to choose the specialization you want to go into. You can do intimate apparel, evening wear, children's wear, knitwear, or sportswear. Sportswear was the section that I applied to be into. I love sportswear. I thought it was amazing. You can take an outerwear class, you can take a leather class. You really get to go more in depth. I think the bachelor's is definitely worth it. I remember senior year was so much fun. You really get to do whatever you want in terms of design. You can go in a more avant-garde direction, or you can go in a more sportswear driven direction. You can really just go crazy. So the design classes are usually 3 to 4 hours long. For example, a draping class. The professor will do a demo for 30 minutes and then let you work for 30 minutes. And then they'll do a demo for 30 minutes and they'll let you work for 30 minutes. And then there might be like a 15-minute break so you can, go get some coffee, or they'll go back to the demo and then you work, and so on and so forth. Or the professor might just do the whole demo in the beginning of the class and then have you work the rest of the class. The liberal arts classes are a bit shorter. Don't worry, you're not going to be in like a math class for 4 hours. It's not like that. Question number 3, dorming versus commuting. My freshman year, I dormed, and the rest of my time at FIT, I was a commuter student. I lived at home, and then I took the train to come into FIT. So pros and cons. So dorming, the freshman dorms are right across the street from FIT. You can literally wake up at 8:40 and just be on time for your 9 a.m. class, like totally fine. You get to meet a lot of people, you get to explore the city and have that experience. It was really nice. However, commuting, being a commuter student, you do save a lot of money. I feel like it helps you manage your time better. There's so many students that commute to FIT. FIT is a big commuter school. Campus and the building. So they renovated after I graduated. So annoying, but whatever. Now they added like this gorgeous like glass lobby, like whatever, I don't want to talk about it. But the inside of the school hasn't really changed. The hallways are gray and green and depressing a little bit, at least in the C building. That's where all the fashion design classes are. And the classrooms, a little outdated, but you know, it's the quality of the education that matters. The fashion design classrooms, how they look like, there's these really huge brown tables, and then there's like rows and rows of sewing machines. There's a bunch of mannequins. You get to cut your patterns and cut your fabric and then sew, and then you have your mannequins to drape, blah, blah, blah. The fashion art classrooms, there was just rows and rows of tables and then the professor at the front and like a huge chalkboard. There's no like lecture hall type classes for fashion design. Oh my gosh. The library is so good. It is such a gem of all these amazing fashion books. Literally, companies pay to go visit the FIT library and to get inspiration for their collections because FIT just has such a great archive of all these designers and all these past shows, and it's really amazing. Another amazing thing is the FIT Museum. FIT constantly is updating their museum with new exhibits. So think of the Met Costume Institute exhibits. That's kind of the same concept at FIT. They always have like a theme. They execute it really well every time. You get to see all these like beautiful vintage designer pieces, vintage and current. It's really special. One thing that's really nice about FIT is that they close off the entire street during school hours. I mean, not the whole day, but like I think maybe 9 to 5, where cars can't pass through, which is really nice. So you don't have to get worried about, you know, getting hit by a car. You won't have that regular college campus. There's no grassy quad. Manhattan is your campus. And that sounds corny, but it really is. There are so many museums, art galleries, restaurants, events. There's always something going on. FIT really isn't like your typical college experience, so if that's what you're looking for, it might not be the school for you, and that's okay. Question number 5, community, social life. What are the people like? In my experience, I found everyone was like really sweet, really nice, and you just become really close with the people you're in your design classes with because you see them for like hours and hours and hours every single day. When you're in the studio until like 1 a.m. looking like a hot mess, you're tired, you're delirious, you're dehydrated, you're hungry, you're stressed, and you're like sewing your project and whatever and like just dying. I feel like it's a bonding experience. Blood, sweat, and tears. It is a bonding experience. I think everyone was just really appreciative that they were surrounded by other like really creative, really talented and driven students. I didn't even feel any sort of like competitiveness because we all have like such strong and different points of view and aesthetics. Like, we would just motivate and inspire each other, and I thought it was a great community. And we would always like goof off too during off hours. Oh my gosh, I remember me and my friends, we would literally be like talking about our boy problems and just like drinking our like matcha lattes and iced coffees. We'd be like and like draping our dresses, and it was just so fun. Also, I know you're like gonna be close to your fashion design friends, but I totally recommend getting to know people outside of your fashion design major. That could be taking other classes, like extracurricular classes that would mix you with other majors. You can join clubs, sports teams. And also, another thing, I know people might kind of come across as intimidating, you know, they might be wearing like head to toe black with like the chains and everything and just look very like, don't talk to me. But people are really nice. I know, I know a lot of my friends thought that I was like unapproachable at first, but like, I don't know, I feel like I'm really nice. I'm just like kind of shy. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. People you meet at FIT will become your future network when you're older. If you have transferred from a different college, or you're even pursuing a different career and you're in your mid to late 20s or even your 30s, don't be embarrassed to apply to the associate's program because it was pretty common. You won't be the only one. And if you want, you can apply to the associate's accelerated program. So you can finish the associate's program in 1 year. The people who went through that program were dying 24/7, but they made it through. It's really tough, but you can do it. In the bachelor's program, since it is a little bit more selective, since you do have to reapply, I would say everyone was really, really passionate about their work. Like, if you want to be a fashion design student, like, you really have to put in the long hours and you have to really, really love it. You have to love it. Like, you have to be the kind of person, if you messed up the zipper, you take it out and you do it again. If your art just doesn't feel up to par, you're gonna redraw it and try it again. The fashion science students at FIT are very serious and passionate about the work that they put out. Next question. Classes I recommend you taking. These classes are different than your core sewing, pattern making, and draping classes. These are more choose your own adventure classes. Corsetry, amazing. I took that in my bachelor's. Leather, amazing. I loved that class. I took an outerwear class. I took art in New York, which was amazing. Okay, I'm saying like all these classes were amazing, but these were literally my favorite classes in the 4 years. Art in New York, it was this class where you literally go to museums every single Friday or every single week. And it was just so fun. Like, the professor was really chill, and we just like, we're at museums like in New York every week. Like, how cool is that? And I'm like a complete art nerd. I love going to art galleries and museums, so that was like a personal favorite for me. Every week I was just so excited to go. In the associates 4th semester, I took art specialization. I loved that. We had this one class, it was like a fashion life drawing class, and the professor would just be playing music really loud, and then you'd have like this fashion model doing poses, and then you draw them and their outfit that they're wearing, and they're wearing like these dramatic gowns or whatever. So that class was really, really fun. I haven't personally taken this one, but I've seen people who took shoe design, and like they made these like gorgeous like shoes. Amazing. Like, I wish I took that. And also another one that I recommend that I wish I took, but it just didn't fit in my schedule, is any sort of menswear class. I think the work that comes out of the menswear major at FIT is so, so good. They are really on top of the technical side of the design. I really appreciate it. Next question. What to wear? You can wear whatever you want. It's fashion school. There was always really, really fun and interesting outfits. FIT is such a great place to just people watch. Personally, I feel like as a fashion science student, especially around finals time, we were all looking like a mess. We're all wearing like sweats, hoodies, looking like dead. I personally wore like jeans, a t-shirt, no makeup, and I would wear these like huge crystal earrings and white sneakers. I don't know why, but that was just my vibe at the time. Yeah, just experiment with your style. Everyone wears like amazing things, amazing clothes. Next question. What was the food like at FIT? So the cafeteria, not that great. It was okay. There's a Starbucks in the cafeteria, so I was always there at Starbucks getting my coffee all the time because I live off of coffee. But FIT had so many places to get food around the campus. Panera, Gigi's Cafe, Five Guys, City Gourmet, Brooklyn Bagels, Pret. Those were just the spots that were like really close by. Other fun questions. Do you need to go to fashion school to become a fashion designer? In the short answer, I guess technically no. I mean, look at Virgil Abloh. He didn't go to fashion school. Do I recommend it? Yes. And I'm gonna tell you why. I know that not everyone is like as privileged as I am to go to fashion design school. So I feel like if you can teach yourself reading pattern making books, trying to sew on your own, making your own clothes, you practice your drawing every single day. If you take the time to learn the craft, if you can apprentice with someone, an internship somewhere, then I feel like you can become a designer without school. It's just gonna be a lot tougher. Next question, was it worth it? Yes, in my opinion, it was 110% worth it. The people you meet, the network that you have access to post-graduation, the internships that FIT can help you get, the prestige of the FIT name, the quality of the education, I think was really strong. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you want to apply to FIT, I definitely recommend it. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, bye. Okay, so now we're in the section that I'm gonna show you what I made in fashion school. Some little tidbits here and there, you know, roll the credits.